Welcome everyone back to weekly weather updates, and in today's video we're going to have a look at the latest from the live radar, run through the UKV, have a look at the precipitation and the temperature over the next 5 days. It's going to be fairly cool in many regions with plenty of showers and some longer spells of rain as we do head into next week, as we can remain with this very unsettled and cool pattern with lots of low pressure systems coming in off the Atlantic. That pattern is continuing into the longer term with the GFS, GM, ECMWF and the Ensembles with very little change as we head into early August, with continual signs of below average upper air temperatures and low pressure nearby or even on top of us. Some runs are even going for some quite stormy patterns with very strong winds, very deep areas of low pressure, especially for this time of year, and even deep areas of low pressure in general for the UK, something that wouldn't look out of place during the winter months. As I said, giving very strong winds and will likely give heavy rain as well. So do remember, if you enjoy my videos, make sure you like and subscribe, and remember to follow me on Twitter as well, the link's in the description. So yes, not great news once again today. Lots of very poor outlooks, all the very poor outlooks are continuing. There will be some days that are decent, as we'll see in the UKV in a minute, but generally most days will have the risk of rain and generally cool conditions. You can see at the moment that we do have plenty of dry weather in the south, and even into parts of northern England, Wales, parts of the Republic of Ireland. But again, there are still a few dotted showers around and some thicker cloud in places. But this is really because we are just in a brief respite. There's not a pattern change at all. You can see across the north and west lots of heavy, thundery showers appearing. And this is because a low pressure system is moving in. Now, the low pressure system is reducing in its intensity. It is filling in, increasing its pressure, which means that we're not seeing any big weather fronts associated with it, but instead just plenty of heavy showers near the centre of the low. So yes, we are under low pressure at the moment, but nothing too crazy because of its weakening nature. But over the coming days and the coming weeks, it doesn't look likely to see many of these weakening lows. Lots of them actually look like they're going to increase in strength as they head our way. But for the rest of today, lots of heavy showers in the north. Again, will be pretty abysmal there. But further southwards, as around 3 p.m, the temperatures are not too bad, actually. Across the East Midlands, perhaps seeing temperatures rise to size 23 or 24 degrees today. Actually, pretty decent and quite stuffy as well, as we are in the warm sector at the moment. So yeah, not too bad, but really nothing great compared to what we should normally have at this time of year, with areas further northwards and westwards are pretty cool indeed. It is one of those patterns where we do see sunshine and see some dry weather. Those temperatures will rise. They will get towards average for the time of year. But if we see the cold, rain and thick cloud fall, then it is looking likely to be well below average because those upper air temperatures will be pretty poor. Now, if you look at the UKV, you'll be able to see that we've got plenty of showers moving in at the moment. And as we head into tomorrow, more showers will appear in the north, especially through the morning. And then we'll see some more persistent rain during the afternoon in western regions. So a more active low pressure system moves in with big weather fronts. And it will give, as I said, heavy rain and thick cloud for all. And even by tomorrow afternoon, some areas towards the London region, East Anglia, could generally just about miss the rain. But we'll see the thick clouds, so it will still feel pretty cool. And that rain will eventually be moving in. Overnight Sunday, all that rain continues to barrage in off the Atlantic into Monday morning. More heavy rain in the south and for northern areas of England and southern Scotland, continuing all the way until around lunchtime. We see more heavy rain in the north. So you can see actually Sunday through Monday, it does look like washout conditions in quite a few regions. Really not great at all. And as we slowly progress into Tuesday, more showers developing. We see a bit more of a northerly flow, though, to start August, as we stated a couple of videos ago, and that will mean that there's a lot drier air, but colder air, which means showers will be lighter, fewer and far between, but there will be quite a cold feel out there. It does look like the northerly will last around Wednesday before it gets cut off by a bit of a channel low developing here. This is a bit further southwards than it was yesterday, which means a lot of that rainfall actually just stays offshore. But regardless, a very interesting pattern, as this would be an incredibly cold and snowy pattern had this come in around 3 or 4 months' time during the winter months, as we'd be seeing bitterly cold northerly winds, that channel low colliding with that cold air, giving us heavy snowfall. But instead, we just see quite miserable, cold and rainy conditions. You can see the northerly wind with the upper air temperatures really quite poor for the time of year, down towards the low single digits in the north, even towards freezing across Scotland, hovering around the 7 or 8 degree mark in the south, which is still below average. So again, really, really poor. We see this reflected in the 2 metre max temperatures, maybe again 23 or 24 this afternoon, but again nothing too crazy. Into Sunday, temperatures could just about reach 23 in East Anglia, but most areas under 20 degrees, as we are seeing that heavy rain and generally thick cloud move in from the west. As we head towards Monday, a similar picture, maybe just about reaching 22 degrees in the East Midlands, where we do avoid the rain, but most areas in the mid to even low teens, as we see heavy rain developing once again in the south and in the north. Into Tuesday, the first day of August, really no major improvements. Maybe 20, 21 or 22 degrees in central regions at best. Most areas 20 degrees or under, with again plenty of rainfall around and plenty of showers developing, especially in the north with that northerly wind. And eventually we see that channel low moving in for the south, and you can see really poor conditions across the far south and southwest, really not getting much above 13 to 15 degrees under that persistent rain. Even areas further northwards where you avoid the rain, still in that northerly flow, at best maybe 21 or 22. So really nothing great in the next 5 days. Plenty of heavy showers, plenty of heavier spells of rain, especially Sunday through Monday and into Wednesday as well, with that channel low developing. So yes, there could be some brief breaks where you could go out and enjoy a bit of sunshine, a bit of 20 plus degree temperatures, but really nothing widely good and really nothing much better than average for the time of year. If you look at the longer range now, look at the GFS, you can see the weakening area of low pressure moving in, and that's why we're seeing generally just showers, no persistent areas of rain. But a more active low moves in for Sunday into Monday, and that gives us those heavier patches of rainfall. Then we see another low move in for Wednesday, and that's the channel low, a bit further northwards here from the GFS. And if we look at its precipitation for this, much more across Wales and England, so that would be quite a bit more miserable there through Wednesday if that did come off. And as we continue beyond that, we continue to see cold northwesterly winds coming in and plenty of lows coming in off the Atlantic, and even quite a big significant stormy pattern there right at the extended range towards the middle of the month, with again quite tight isobars, pretty strong winds. Again, we look at the 10 metre winds here, pretty strong winds, especially on this southern flank, giving us again tastes of autumn and winter, not midsummer. And again, the temperatures, as I continue to say, are poor. We're consistently really in the blues for the foreseeable future. Yes, some temporary yellows at times, where we do see warmer sectors developing. But just look at this, continual blues all the way to the end of the run, with some, as I said, brief yellows wrapping in around low pressure systems. If we look at the GM, again, pretty poor. Low pressure weakening at the moment, but a stronger low moving in through Sunday to Tuesday. And then that channel low developing again a bit further northwards than the UKV was showing. Again, that would give more extensive rainfall and more extensive cold conditions. And we stay in that northwesterly flow all the way to the end of the run, with the more Atlantic systems coming in. The jet stream slightly further northwards here, so it does allow a bit bigger of a warmer sector. It might actually mean it goes slightly warmer and drier in the south, but really it's a very subtle change that may only last a couple of days. And again, the temperature deviation generally in the blues as well, brief yellows under a warmer sector. You can see a bit more of a warmer sector here because of the jet stream is slightly further northwards, but it is overall a cold, unsettled pattern. ECMWF is, guess, very similar. Low pressure moving through at the moment. A bigger low moves through Monday to Tuesday, and then we go into that northerly wind. We do see a little bit of a channel low developing, but nothing too significant there. A bit more of just a kink in the isobars, so not developing that low anywhere near as much. So we'll have to see, again, what happens with that. But nevertheless, cold and probably rainy. And as we head into the longer range, we actually see a bit of an ex-tropical system. You can see down here a bit of a very tight isobars around this low. And that is an ex-tropical system. Again, I don't know exactly what that is. We'll have to have a look at that in more detail. But that doesn't move in off the Atlantic, develop into a post-tropical system, into a general North Atlantic storm system, and we see some very unsettled weather with this. And if we run it back, it does have a very warm core, but it loses that warm core once it gets in towards the Atlantic, and we see more of a cold base does develop within it. But it would have incredibly strong winds, extremely strong gusty winds with that, and would have some very heavy rain associated with that as well. It'll be very interesting to see what the other runs, why the other runs aren't showing something similar. If we actually have a look at the GFS, Wednesday time, again, doesn't have that low anywhere near as developed. We do see that energy move our way, but not producing anything at all. The GEM, on the other hand, again, does have perhaps some energy out there, but again, nothing significant. So it looks like the ECMWF really develops a tropical system, and then not only develops it into quite a significant system for the North Atlantic, actually heads it straight towards the UK, developing into a very strong post-tropical system as well. Very interesting from the ECMWF. We are in that time of year where we can see ex-hurricanes, ex-tropical storms, or ex-tropical depressions move our way through the North Atlantic, but this really has come out of nowhere, so we'll have to keep a very close eye, as that could be very disruptive if that did move in. If we finally finish by looking at the ensembles, generally cold and unsettled. Lots of rainfall spikes, and the upper air temperatures are average to below average for the foreseeable future. 2 meter temperatures are poor, many days towards the early August, not even getting towards the 20 degrees for a majority of ensemble members. That is abysmal for London. And again, if we have a look at the sea level pressure, generally low pressure dominating. Some brief high pressure systems could move in at times, especially in the south, being closer to the Euro high, but really nothing that big of a change. And finally, looking at the ECMWF ensemble members, generally again very unsettled and really quite horrible as we do progress onwards. And again, if we look at the 2 meter temperatures, poor, not getting much towards 20 degrees on some of these days. And if we have a look at the wind speeds, you can see the operational run is very strong, but actually quite a few other runs getting quite strong there. So again, could that be a sign that other runs are starting to show that? And the sea level pressure, again, being fairly low. ECMWF dropping off quite significantly there, the operational run that is. So you can see from all the runs, it's going to be very unsettled, very cold over the next couple of weeks. Not great at all. There will be some brief breaks, as you saw on the UKV, of something sunnier, maybe drier at times, but nothing significant really, nothing more than a good afternoon here or there. And of course, we have to keep a very close eye on that ECMWF run. That really has come out of nowhere, of an tropical system moving our way, and that, as I said, could give some very disruptive conditions if that did come off. But at this stage, we need to see a lot more support for that system, not only to develop it in the first place, but then to head it, to push it our way as well. So anyway, thanks for watching. Hope you have enjoyed. Subscribe if you're new, and I'll see you again for another video soon.